Get 3 months of local news for just 99 cents a month. You'll get unlimited access to the news you need to stay engaged and connected to your community. Visit duluthnewstribune.com/subscribe now to get 3 months of local news for only 99 cents a month.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Tuesday, September 26th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with the Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. In setting the maximum possible levy Monday night, the Duluth City Council left the door open for more spending than Mayor Emily Larson originally proposed. The actual 2025 budget won't be formally adopted until later this year, but councilors passed a couple amendments to the mayor's proposal in hopes of accommodating raises for local firefighters and more spending on library materials. Members of the Duluth Fire Department could receive an 8% bump in pay next year, making their wages more competitive with those of other firefighters throughout the state, courtesy of councilors Hannah Alstead, Eric Forsman, Mike Mayo, and Teresa Tomanek. They proposed to fund the $1.07 million cost of the raises in part by raising local property taxes and also by drawing on some of the proceeds from the recent sale of a building to Sears Aircraft for $3.45 million. At present, Duluth offers its firefighters some of the lowest wages in the state. The starting annual compensation for a Duluth firefighter is $53,797, just 81.6% of the state average annual full-time pay for rookies statewide, $65,901. The same four counselors also successfully advocated for an additional $250,000 to boost the Duluth Public Library's budget for new library materials next year, again drawing on a mix of property taxes and the Sears building sale proceeds. The additional funding would augment the library's budget for more new materials by nearly 80%. Library spending on its collection had remained frozen at $315,000 for more than 2 decades, even as inflation has greatly diminished the buying power of those funds. Combined, the increased firefighter pay and the enhanced library funding would add 1.12% to the city's current tax levy if they are incorporated into the final city budget later this year. For the owner of a medium-priced $213,100 home in Duluth, the proposed tax levy, as amended, would annually translate into an additional $7.16 in property taxes to support higher firefighter pay and an additional 86 cents for the public library system. Larson initially proposed a 2% levy increase that would have necessitated virtually no increase in municipal property tax rates due to the growing value of Duluth's property base. Duluth East High School football coach Joe Heitela will be unable to coach the Greyhounds on Friday at Grand Rapids. The Duluth Police Department responded to a report that Heitela, a physical education teacher at East as well as the football coach, was allegedly intoxicated at the school Saturday morning. Heitela was placed on administrative leave, quote, until further notice, end quote, district spokesperson Brett Mensing said. Mensing said the Duluth School District could not comment on an ongoing investigation, but did confirm that Heitela was placed on leave from all his positions with the district. The district notified the parents of football and volleyball players in an email, Mensing said. Duluth police responded to a report at 11:43 a.m. Saturday that Heitela was, quote, believed to be intoxicated inside the school, end quote, during a volleyball tournament in the school gymnasium, Public Information Officer Maddie Jelseth said in a statement. Parents and staff asked police to remove Heitela from the building. Police said Heitela showed signs of impairment, but after talking with officers, he agreed to voluntarily leave the property on foot. Heitela was not arrested and no charges are pending, according to Jelseth. Nearly 5 inches of rain since Friday has pushed September to the wettest month in a decade and caused widespread flooding and damage across Duluth and the North Shore, with sewage overflows, washed out roads, and culverts. The National Weather Service in Duluth reported 4.75 inches of rain from Friday through Monday at 1 p.m., with higher amounts reported in some areas, saturating the ground and sending streams, ditches, and gutters spilling over their banks. Officials on Monday said areas in eastern Duluth and just outside the city up the North Shore were hit the hardest. The Western Lake Superior Sanitary District reported a peak flow of nearly 3 times the usual flow. Rainwater enters the system through various ways, including leaking connections and cracked pipes that run between homes and sewer lines under streets. Some Duluth area homes also still send sump water into the sanitary sewage system. Several roads were either inundated with water or had sections washed out where culverts couldn't handle the rush of water on Sunday, including several just outside Duluth in Lakewood Township. In Duluth, Jim Benning, the city's public works director, said grader and dump truck crews had fanned out across the city on Monday to repair alleys and streets washed out by the rain. City residents should call 218-730-4000 to report damage. City officials are asking residents to stay off all natural surface hiking and biking trails until damage assessments can be made and the trails dried out. September has already cracked the top 10 wettest months in Duluth's recorded history, with records dating back to 1871 falling at number 9. It's the wettest month and the rainiest 3 days since 10.03 inches fell in June 2012, which included the massive rainstorm and infamous flooding event that caused millions of dollars in damage into the Twin Ports. The wettest month on record in Duluth was 11.5 inches in September 1881. Will the rain finally come to an end? Here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler for the Duluth area weather forecast for today. A little bit of fog possible early in the day, otherwise mostly sunny to partly cloudy and breezy. High temperature in the low to mid 60s with an east wind around 10 to 20 miles an hour and gusty. For tonight, partly cloudy, still breezy. Low temperature in Duluth Superior around the low 50s. East winds about 10 to 20. And then for tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy with a high temperature in the mid-60s. Still a fairly blustery wind off the lake at times. The weather will continue to be mostly cloudy and mild with highs mostly in the 60s for the rest of the week. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. The latest episode explores the questions evoked by Duluth's Cemetery Labyrinth. You can find that episode now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy, Jamie Malcolm, and John Myers. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.